Most internet business owners at least give Google AdWords a try at some point in time. Now, while there's a few that are successful, the majority that go after Google AdWords, at least in the beginning stages, lose their investment. They really do. It does not give them a good return on investment. I've been discussing this a lot with Gunn Livingston lately, and he's really been talking to me about the fact that there's two different types of AdWords systems. And up till now, almost everyone has been following model number one. And he's the first person that really shared with me model number two, which I'll go into and show a little bit on this video. But first I want to look and show the process that most people go through on their AdWords account. So let's look at the normal AdWords process first. With the normal AdWords process, people go in and they look at what we call the keyword candy store. And what do I mean by the keyword candy store? I mean that they look at all these keyword phrases. They use all the keyword tools out there, and there's a lot of good keyword tools out there, even including Google's own keyword tool. But they look through all these tools and they say, I can make money on this keyword, and I can make money on that keyword, and I can make money on this keyword, and they come up with dozens or even hundreds of phrases that they could make money on. And so they take all these in and they put together a Google account. And that's just where they start endpoint. And then the next process they go through in that regular system is they do a little bit of research. They've heard that they need to do some research, but in most cases, the methods that most people do for research is very unorganized. They use some of the search tools, and they might look around to see what the other advertisers, what kind of ads they're writing. They look to see and estimate what other sites are advertising. They use some of the keyword research tools that look at competitive keywords, and they look to see what competitors are advertising, giving them another whole list of keyword phrases, basically giving them this huge long list of different keyword phrases. But it doesn't really zero in that much on the customer. If they do any type of real customer research, they might go into a few forums, or they might even, if they're more advanced, they might even do a little bit of a survey asking people what their biggest question is about. But it really doesn't dig in and tell you about the specific customers. And then the next step that they'll take, and that is they'll have this very complex setup for AdWords. There's some people in the very beginning that might try to take that list of several hundred keywords and throw them in just a few ad groups. But if you've done any work on AdWords, you'll know that that's a bad recipe for failure. You're going to fail very quickly by doing that. You have to break it up into a lot of different very targeted groups. And so it ends up being a very complex setup when you try to use all these keyword phrases that you've searched and think that you might make money from. And then after they get all this set up and they have all these different ad groups, so we're talking dozens and dozens or even hundreds of ad groups set up in their account, they start moving to trying to optimize their account, because you're going to find that when you first start with AdWords, in most cases, you don't become extremely profitable right out of the gate. A lot of times you'll even lose a little bit of money starting out. So they go in, they start trying to optimize, and they're trying to optimize this phrase and this group, and you just think about it, the whole process sounds confusing as you're trying to optimize all these different groups all at one time. And so that's where they really move into the stage of confusion. And I got to add in that they move into frustration, because they're trying to optimize all these different phrases, and then they'll say, hey, I got a great Google AdWords account, I'm getting a bunch of click-throughs, but nobody's buying on my website. And that comes back to the point where they didn't do a very organized research system. And it looks like there's just all these different moving pieces that don't fit together. So what do they generally do? They'll go back and they'll buy another product, and they'll look for more keywords, or they'll buy a new keyword tool. They're saying, well, maybe my keywords, I'm not going long tail enough, or maybe these aren't the right phrases for my business. And they'll go back and they'll do the same process. And it goes through the whole circle again. They end up back in the keyword candy store. They do more unorganized research. They have a very complex setup. There's basically random optimization that they try to do. They get back into the confusion again. They might go through the whole process again and go back for more keywords, go back for another course, and just keep trying. Or even at that point in time, they give up and they say, well, AdWords doesn't work. I'm going to try other sources of traffic. There's a much better way for running your AdWords campaigns. And he discovered this by running his pay-per-click company, because right now he runs Rocket Clicks and they have 21 employees that are helping optimize websites for AdWords, and they help them with search engine optimization and the other aspects that flow out of that beginning AdWords campaign. But looking at all the accounts that they worked with and the clients they've worked with, one of the things that he said he told me that he discovered was that the accounts with less keywords, okay, were doing much better, especially over the past year. So especially over the past year with all the changes Google's been making, the first thing he noticed with the accounts with less keywords did better. And based off of that, they've worked into a system that they've been using all their clients. And as I said, they grew basically from 0 up to 21 employees working on clients in the middle of a recession in less than a year because of how they've been able to help clients. And here's the process that he really showed me that we go through in his system. And he calls it the AdWords bullseye process. And the first one is he finds a bullseye keyword phrase. So instead of looking at all these different phrases that could make you money, Glenn zeroes in on the phrase that will make you money. So he finds a phrase that he knows is going to be a bullseye for your business. It's going to be a phrase that has people who are actively looking to buy something on this subject. They're not just freebie seekers, but they're looking to buy something on this subject. They just haven't chosen who to buy it from. And you focus in and you use this bullseye keyword phrase to base everything else in your campaign on. The next thing he sets up is he sets up a very specific intelligence dashboard that's pulling competitive intelligence for free from all over the internet. It's pulling it from different sites. It's pulling from some of the Google results. It's pulling from some social sites. It's pulling from all the way, bringing in all the information you need on the competition, what your customers are thinking, what they're buying, what they have complaints about, what their objections are. It's bringing it all into one place, and again, it can be done for free. And then the next step he takes is he in and set up his Google AdWords campaign. It's a very simple setup in his campaign. It's going to be a very simple setup. Instead of being real complex with all these different ad groups, it's going to be a small set of ad groups in that campaign. And then the next step is going to be systematic optimization. He uses a few of the reports that Google gives you for free in your account to work on optimizing these keyword phrases. Then he has a specific step-by-step system he goes through to optimize it with other forms of optimization, such as day parting the ads and using geolocal targeting and other ways to optimize the account. And it's a systematic process. And then what's really been a big benefit over the past year is because Google's algorithms have gotten so good at expounding out your account if you set it up correctly, that you find that Google will automatically help you start finding all these additional keyword phrases to expand your advertising out to. And here's where the difference is. If you start off trying to advertise on all those in the beginning, you can't get all the information about the customers. You end up confused because you're trying to do so much at once. But instead of waiting and getting optimized on this small group and then letting Google expand it out because you're doing so well in a small group, you're going to see that you're going to be able to get bigger, get more targeted, and over time you'll generate much more traffic than the first person for much less cost. And again, and the amount of time it takes is just a bare fraction of what it takes from the complex system. And as you're automatically expanded out, you'll start generating a market domination here. And the reason is, whereas everybody else is just trying to use a shotgun approach to hit all these different phrases they looked up, here you're really having a bullseye. You can see your target customer exactly, and you have that competitive intelligence constantly coming in about that customer. You're able to sell to them, make more sales, and get much higher conversion rates once they get to your site. And so you'll dominate on AdWords. AdWords is expanding for you automatically. And then you take the information and the conversions that you know are working on AdWords and you expand it out to other forms of traffic.